Hey everybody, this is James,
Marco,
Nabil,
and Mikey.
And this is the Movie Pals Podcast, podcast number 214. Today we are finishing our segment for the Pals' favorite films of the century, followed by a review of Avatar, Fire and Ash. Let's get into it.
Welcome back, listeners, to our final installment of the Pals' favorite films of the century. As you know, we've been going through our favorite films of this century, starting from the year 2000 to the current year. To 2024, I should say. So, last episode, we went over the years 2015 to 2019, with each pal going over 2 honorable mentions, then a countdown of their number 5 to number 1 picks. This week is our finale. I know, it's very sad. We're going through the years of 2020 to 2024. So, we're going to jump right into it, and we're just going to start with me. I'm going to kick it off for everybody and go through my top picks for this 5-year span. And jumping right into it, my first honorable mention is American Fiction. This was the film that came in July 2023. I'm seeing some puzzled looks on the screen here.
It's such an Nabil
July 2023?
Yeah, it came out in July.
That must have been like a music. That must have been like a festival or something. Because
yeah, probably. Yeah,
but Mikey saw it early, and it was in November of, I think, last year.
It might have been the festival release date. That was.
I was like,
but it was within the span. Either way. So the film itself, if you guys remember, we did talk about. I believe we mentioned it a little bit.
By the way, it was 2 years ago. But yeah, it was more like December 22nd, 2023 release.
Yeah,
that was its bigger release.
So what I thought was interesting about the film was, first of all, it's Jeffrey Wright starring in role, and he was really fun. But also, it was just a different story about a novelist who was trying to build a book, but ended up using a pen name because his original ones weren't selling. And it was kind of fun. Honestly, it was just a funny film. It was an original movie, and I thought that it was something that was different from what was being offered over the last 5 years.
Oh, I like this one too. I mean, it's a little different. It's kind of had a blend of genres, but it was still a fun movie.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of weird picks, I think, in these last 5 years that you're going to see here. Starting with my next honorable mention, it's the April 2024 film, Challengers. So you guys probably remember this film. It is a very horny tennis film that came out last year, but it was fun. Zendaya was really cool. I was interested in seeing the weird relationship between Mike Fest and Josh O'Connor, the 2 other male characters, and also just the whole idea of like I'd never really seen Zendaya do like a full-fledged serious role like this and like feel appealing. It was always kind of something on the side. So this film made me really appreciate who she was, but also just like the way it was being told was very cool, very stylish. And again, very horny. So I was all about it.
Hella agree there, Nabil. Good pick.
Yeah, that's a good one.
All right, we're gonna jump into my top 5, starting with, and I had to choose one, and this I landed on March 2024's Dune Part 2. So yeah, this is the sequel to the original Dune that came out a few years before this, and the Dune series as a whole so far from Denis Villeneuve has been really good. I think I like this the most because I really got to see Timothée Chalamet's character, Paul Atreides, really just kind of come into himself, and that was more interesting to see who he becomes from the start of this film to the end. And of course, like visually, it's great. It's great action set pieces again. And then the ending, I really, really liked how the film ended. That final kind of fight scene that he had was really well done. So it's just a great series. But this one particularly, I think, just kind of was a little stronger with the character that I felt more invested with.
Really great pick there, man.
My number 4 film was July 2023's Joyride. So this was the film of the 4 Asian women that basically went around China. Well, they were traveling through China, and I think they ended up in Korea at some point. But they were just basically trying to find one of them were trying to find their birth mothers, but it was just a really funny and surprising comedy, to be honest. Everybody in here was hilarious, and I found myself just always thinking back about this. I've watched it again not too long ago too, just organically. I saw it on, I think it was one of the stream services, I think Hulu or something, but I was just watching it and remembered how funny it was, and just thought that this stood out more than a lot of the other comedies that I ended up watching over the last few years. So it's just a really surprisingly original and funny film. No thoughts on that, everybody?
It was fun. I liked it.
Yeah, it's funny, but just like you, I don't remember what other countries they went to either.
I remember they went to China,
never seen
and I
it.
remember they went to Korea. Oh, you haven't seen it, Marco? You probably like this film.
It's pretty good.
All right, we're going to jump into my number 3. That is November 2022's The Banshees of Inisherin. This one is essentially, it's a dark comedy about 2 lifelong friends. We've talked about this film that basically they come to an impasse, and one decides that they just want to end the relationship. They don't find the other one funny anymore. And it's so, like, Colin Farrell specifically is just very funny because he's not sure why he can't be friends with Brendan Gleeson anymore as the other character, and you just kind of see him fumbling through this whole relationship of not understanding and wanting to find out why, while also stupid things happening to him that he's doing and things around him is a situation that makes things rougher for him. But I think the setting, probably the fact that it's Irish, but also the absurdity of it all was something that stuck with me as, again, another original film that you don't really get to hear a story like this very often or see it on screen. And it's something that still kind of sticks with me.
Another solid pick, Nabil. Yeah. This one was very entertaining.
Yeah, definitely. Really good performances in that one.
All right, going to my number 2. And this was a hard one for me to kind of go back and forth between. But I chose for my number 2, May 2022's Top Gun Maverick. I mean, this was an excellent film overall, like visually. A revival of the Top Gun, I guess now it's a franchise. But just like having this story told, 25, 30 years later, and Tom Cruise still being really cool in this film. The fight scenes were really cool. The whole idea of just these characters like Miles Teller, especially. I don't really like Miles Teller too much, but in this one, he really kind of stood out. And I think that this kind of film was like all action, all spectacle, and then even the ending, the way it ended, where you thought it was ending, and then they had like a whole epilogue of something that was just going on that you didn't expect, and that was it was a very original. Again, another original film, though this was a sequel to another film years later. It still felt very fresh, and you especially if you had seen it in the theaters, it was a film where you felt like, I'm glad I did get a chance to see this and in the biggest screen that I was able to.
This movie was hella fun, dude. And I consider this a movie that brought people back to the movie theaters post-pandemic and probably saved a lot of movie theaters.
It was one of the first big ones I remember, definitely.
Yeah.
A really good movie theater experience too. IMAX, if you saw it there. It's what a spectacle, especially for a movie, one of these kind of legacy sequels. It actually did it really well.
Yeah, and I agree. I think to what you guys are saying too, that this film really kind of proven that it was something you could actually. There are movies that are worth watching in the theaters, and so there's still value to go seeing something big. Obviously, there's still value in seeing something small too. The theater experience is always great, and we always advocated here for everyone to watch a movie in a theater. But in this case, this really was a reason they make an event and get everybody out over there to watch it, and you wanted to see that in the big screen
For sure.
So, my number 1 pick for this 5-year span was March 2024's Anatomy of a Fall.
Okay.
So, yeah.
It's a Nabil pick. I like it.
It's a Nabil pick.
It was good, though. I liked it.
Yeah,
James just left.
James like, you know what? Nah, I can't with this guy.
Sorry, I'm sick. Yeah, I mean, couldn't tell you the guy's name if you put a gun to my head right now.
So it was directed by Justin Triet and stars Sanda Hüller. This was basically it's a French film about a German woman who was suspected of murder of her husband, who was French, and their half-blind son, who was there, who was witness to the event essentially. And this woman's put in court. There's a whole murder. Essentially, it's a murder mystery of figuring out, did she do this actual murder, or was it an accident of her husband passing away? And the story itself is very simple. It's just you're going through the motions of this woman's life and then watching this court case unfold. But what I rewatched this movie thinking that maybe it wasn't going to make it as my top, but I always like kept calling back to it, remembering how much I really thought, again, it was like an original film that was portrayed differently, filmed differently. The dialogue was different. It felt very grounded. I also am a sucker for foreigners in a foreign land, kind of story. It was an interesting love story. And, like the best part of this film was that they were playing 50 Cent's PIMP the whole time out of nowhere. So that was great. So it's a very, for me, it was one of the films that I'd go back to. And when I rewatched it recently for this, I still really enjoyed it and thought it was such an original story that I wanted to be able to, I feel like it's a film that I could keep watching and find something new about it each time. Because you're not sure of what the truth is, but you're being told different sides of it from different perspectives. And you want to believe the woman on that she didn't kill her husband, but you also have a little bit of doubt. And the son, I think, plays in a great place of feeling like he's not sure either. And is he helping sway things one way or another? You don't know, and you don't know what his feelings are because he doesn't want to see his mom going to jail, but he also feels like, somebody, how could his dad have been murdered? We don't know. And I don't want to spoil it because I do think it's, especially for the first time, worth a watch if you haven't watched this before. But I don't know. It was just a film that really has stuck with me, and revisiting it again, it was probably one of the most standout films for me of the last 5 years. So yeah, it's my number one pick.
Yeah, the whodunit mystery in the film was done pretty well, man, especially with the different perspectives that you were talking about. And I think if you can get through the language barrier and having to read the subtitles, it's you can enjoy the unraveling of the mystery and hearing the different sides of the murder.
Yeah, I also thought it was kind of interesting that like the court system over there is much different than what you would normally see from over here.
Right.
So it's really interesting kind of seeing that kind of play too.
Mike, you like the wigs? No, I'm just kidding.
I think they were wearing more robes than wigs, but yeah. All right. So those are my picks for the last 5 years. We're going to jump into you, James. Share your picks for 2020 to 2024.
Yeah, definitely. I will try to not cough, but I'm catching a cold from the sound of it, so can't wait.
He's got the snifflies.
Not yet, but something's catching on even as I'm talking now. I'm getting worse by the second here. So I found these ones the hardest ones to just pick, just because for me, I think it's a little too soon for me to be nostalgic for any of these movies. That's why. So
sure. Yeah.
Compared to the other ones, like I got to a lot of these and I was kind of like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if you guys ran into the same issues. And like, don't get me wrong, these are all movies that I really like, but it's like this could probably very well change in like a year or two. This list,
absolutely,
compared to like the previous sets that we did, I think. So my two honorable mentions, I have the first one is from 2020, a movie directed by David Pryor. It's called The Empty Man. It's a horror film. Nabil's seen it, I know.
Yeah.
I don't know if Mikey saw it or not.
Yeah, I've seen it. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it's kind of a hidden gem in my opinion. I really liked the overall kind of style of the movie. It's really creepy. It really went under the radar. It's a really long movie too, but I think stylistic wise and story wise, I thought there's a lot to like there. So
definitely it's an interesting one. It plays out pretty well.
Definitely. My other honorable mention is Horizon, American Saga, Chapter 1, 2024, directed by Kevin Costner. Yep. As a Western person that loves Westerns, this was just right up my alley. One day we're going to get that Chapter 2, but I think if you like Westerns, it's kind of a long, drawn-out one in this one, but it's got a lot of great scenes, a lot of great moments in it. So that's why I made my honorable mention.
Yeah, we got a lot of flack on that one from TikTok. We posted that we liked it, and the guy was like all over us, like, "No, it's just not a good movie." But I enjoyed it as well. I thought it was really good. Cinematography is great in that one.
Yeah, me and Mikey actually got to see it in theaters too, which was, I think, added to it. So
yeah. You convinced me to watch this, James, and I agree. It's actually a pretty solid Western, and I really didn't understand the hate on the movie. But yeah, each their own.
They're like, he left his show to do this.
He's like, what the hell?
The second one's already done, so I'm like, dude, just release it, man.
For it to release, yeah.
It was supposed to come out like 2 months after or something, but
it still has its original release date on Wikipedia too. It's crazy.
Oh, does it? That's crazy. My top 5 then. Getting into my top 5. My number 5 film is Avatar: The Way of Water, 2022, directed by James Cameron. I recently rewatched this before we watched all the new Avatar: Fire and Ash, and I really forgot how much I really like these movies. It just really worked for me. I like the story about kind of the family aspect is the one that is centered around this one. And I think there's some very powerful scenes in it. And not to mention, seeing it in theaters in 3D was amazing. And also seeing it even at home was really well done. So
remember, we saw this one together with Xander, actually.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome experience.
Was this his first 3D movie?
I think so, yeah. It was his first 3D movie. Yeah.
Or was it not?
I'm trying to think. I'm pretty sure it was.
There might have been one before it. We might have watched a shorter one.
Maybe.
But maybe it was. I don't know. That's cool. Yeah.
But yeah, solid experience, solid movie. Good choice, man.
All right, and my number 4 film is Top Gun Maverick, 2022, Joseph Kosinski. Just like Nabil said, amazing film, action. I mean, it's predictable,
right?
It's damn near a rehash of the first one, but I mean, we run into a lot of those nowadays, I guess. And you know what? I didn't mind at all. It gives a lot of homage to the original film, and that's a movie I saw a lot in the when I was even a kid, probably way too soon before I should have been watching it. My dad was in the Navy, so it's one of those things where you just watch it a lot.
I thought it was the volleyball scene that really got you. I get it, or the football scene.
No. Oh, it's the scene where they're singing in the bar, Nabil. It's really enjoyable. So it's one of those movies, like Marco said too. It was really cool that Tom Cruise really pushed to make sure it was not on streaming either. He's like, no, this has to be a movie experience. So
they also pushed for some people to be in the movie as well, right? That they weren't going to put in there. So it's nice that he wanted to kind of play a little bit more homage to the first one than even the people that were making the film did.
Oh, yeah. My number 3 film is Licorice Pizza, 2021, Paul Thomas Anderson. I think this is a great coming-of-age movie. Paul Thomas Anderson's hit or miss for some people, but for me, it's mostly hits for me. And I really like the kind of quirky, strange story. It's really weird, honestly. But there's a lot of heart in this movie, is what I would say, and it's very memorable. So I've seen it a few times, and this is one of those movies that I think if you've never seen it, or if you're a fan of Paul Thomas Anderson, you've probably seen it, obviously. But it's definitely, I don't think it's talked about as much because it came out kind of during that weird middle of COVID kind of thing, Yeah. So
I think the title also throws a little people off. It's Licorice Pizza. What does this mean? But no, it was weird. A good movie.
It's weird.
It's good.
That's why.
There's no pizza with licorice on it.
They're lying to us now. What's going on here, man? So, my number 2 film is Everything Everywhere All at Once, 2022. This was directed by the Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert. Fantastic movie. I think this is one of those just out of left field kind of movies that came out and got a lot of word of mouth when it first came out. And I think that's when me and Mikey probably went and saw it. But it is such a unique film with the different kind of storylines that it's telling in parallel with different aspects of certain story. It's hard to even describe to people about what it really is without watching it. And honestly, that's what I kind of just tell people to do. So Michelle Yeoh is really great in this one. And there's plenty of Oscar performances in this film to begin with, but it has, and once again, I really like a lot of heart in this movie too. It has a really good story about a kind of not just a mother and daughter, but also just the paths that you take in life and the could have beens. I think it's a really beautiful message it tells you by the end of the film.
All right.
You have a very emotional scene where it's 2 rocks talking to each other, and it nearly brings you to tears. So yeah, really good movie.
My favorite scene is where she's talking to the alternate version of her husband, and if she had made it and been famous. And
yeah,
he's like, I would have folded laundry with you all the time. And I was like, oh, my heart.
That was really good, too.
I was like, crap. My number 1 film, it's probably easy to figure out, but 2023, Emerald Fennell's Saltburn. What a movie, man. Just rewatching this one again. I think me, Mikey, and I went to go see this because we had just seen, I think we went and saw Napoleon, and we were going to review that, and we were like, we probably shouldn't do this one. Because as soon as we got out, I was texting you guys. I was like, "Hey, we should probably pivot." Because I think right before we had seen Saltburn, it was like a back-to-back night kind of thing.
We thought there was more to talk about with Saltburn than there was Napoleon.
Yeah, because Napoleon was like, "I don't really have much to say." So
right, yeah.
And I was like, "I don't really," and because I think Saltburn had just kind of resonated with me so hard. There's so much to talk about in that movie, and even just rewatching it now. By the way, no physical release. What a shame. So
Really?
Yeah, no physical release. Amazon has a real big lock on it. So the only way to watch this movie is if you bought it or you can stream it on Prime. So, but
Wow.
great movie. It has some really great performances in it too. But I think for me, what gets to me the most, the plot first off is insane. There's just so much going on, and Barry Keoghan is like the main character, and you're kind of following him, and you're in like this mindset that you think you know where it's coming from, but then it's all revealed at the end that there's a lot more to it than you think.
Yeah.
And like there's like funny moments in it, but it's actually more like a psychological drama.
Yeah.
And I really like Jacob Elordi too, who was Frankenstein most recently. And I think his performance in this is just like, you can tell why he's so likable, you know? And I think the movie itself works on a level where if you're really looking for some really dark, twisted stuff, this is it. And honestly, this is the one that's like stayed with you the most. And even rewatching it now, I really had fun watching this again. So that's my number one pick.
Man. Nice. Yeah, I saw this one with friend of the pod, Sonny, and was blown away by this movie, dude. Just solid mystery, solid plot. The performances were great. Yeah.
Nice.
Good choice.
Thank you.
And again, very stylish film.
Oh, yeah. No, beautifully shot. That's why The Wuthering Heights is coming out. That's Emerald Fennell's next movie, and I can't wait to watch it. So
Nice.
Those are great picks, James. All right, Mikey, what are your top picks of 2020 to 2024?
Man, these last few, our lists have been so different, and I love to see it. So I don't know markers yet, but I don't think a single movie, or well, maybe one or two, is the same as your guys'. So it's going to be kind of nice. So my first honorable mention is 2024's Wild Robot. I really like this. It's animated, got a lot of people doing the voices, but I don't think the trailer did it much justice. I didn't really even think about wanting to watch this, but my family was getting together. We kind of wanted to go to a movie. We didn't know what to watch, and I talked them all to see this because I heard it was good. And no one wanted to see that, but we went anyways because the kids wanted to see that one. And just my whole family was like loving this movie, and it just kind of resonates with me a little bit more because of that. And like I looked over at my mom and sister like crying in the middle of the movie and stuff. So just a nice moment. Like we turned everybody that really didn't care about this movie, and we watched it and we're like trying to recommend it to people. Just was like a nice, good storyline, animated movie that pretty much anybody can watch and enjoy.
great pick. I love the animation style, the watercolor effects too.
Yeah.
Right.
Really good choice, Mikey.
I think I saw that one twice this year.
Oh, nice.
So if you don't tear up at this movie, you're not human.
Right? Yeah, it sticks with you.
Well, I guess I'm a robot then. Sorry, Marco. Damn, wild robot.
Oh,
Jeez.
wild
I
robot,
didn't
yeah.
watch it until one of you guys told me like it wasn't as sad as it was, and I was like, okay, because I held off for the Oscar stuff. I think Nabil told me. Someone told me, and they're like, it's not as sad. I was like, oh, okay.
Lies.
My next honorable mention is 2020's Sonic the Hedgehog. I just love the return of Jim Carrey. I hadn't seen him in a movie for a while, and he kind of carries this movie. And he's as crazy as he should be in movies, in my opinion. This is like primo Jim Carrey. It's a fun movie. Anybody can watch it. It also connects to my childhood. You know, Sonic is kind of a big part of it.
Sure.
Game I used to play a little bit. So just a fun movie overall.
Yeah, I mean, it's corny, but it works, man.
Yeah. And
It's
I
a
agree.
Sonic the Hedgehog movie, right? Like,
Well, I agree too. Like with Jim Carrey just being essentially told, "Here's a bunch of money. Do what you want with the character. Just be crazy," and he just went all out with it. Especially that first one.
Everyone understood the assignment in that movie, and I think
Right.
that they performed really well. And yeah, I agree, Mikey. Jim Carrey in that movie, perfect choice.
So on to my top 5. My number 5 film is 2022's Spirited. This is a holiday musical with Will Ferrell in it. And saying those words out loud is just weird to say, but it is just a fun movie from beginning to end. Him and Ryan Reynolds are the main characters, and I feel like they just work together really well. And it's a Christmas movie. My family loves Christmas movies. I used to work in retail. We hear Christmas music all day long. I don't normally like Christmas movies in general, but this is one that kind of stuck with me. I kind of watch it every year with my family, and we all love it here on our side. It's just a nice, fun family movie.
Yeah, my one of my in-laws loved this film and watches it all the time throughout the holiday. So I have seen this quite a few times, and it is a good Christmas movie. I'll give you that. It's original, especially for something that's come out in the last few years. It's a pretty solid one.
Some good songs. Good day.
Good day.
Good day. My number 4 film is another animated movie from 2020. It's Onward. Like I said, it's Disney as well, or I think it's actually Pixar. A bunch of voice actors again, a lot of people you'd recognize here, but it's really the story that I love this one for. If you've lost anybody in your life, and sorry guys. So yeah, it's just something I can really connect towards. I mean, I haven't lost my father, which is like what this movie is about, but you can relate it to other people in your family that you might have. And it's a coming of age story as well. And it's just a really fun movie. You know, the movie's got some comedy and stuff like that. So it's not like a Debbie Downer or anything like that, but it does deal with like a pretty heavy like subject. And they do it in a nice way, in a way where you can relate to stuff. And it's just, I really love this one. I think it went under the radar. I don't think a lot of people like this one or have talked about it a lot, but it's one of my favorites.
It came out right before movie theater shut down. It was the last movie I watched before they were like, you can't go buy Lego no more.
Yeah, and then they released it in stream. That's how I saw it, and I agree, Mikey. This movie's tough for me to watch, man. Like, because it's very close to the heart. You know, I lost my dad years ago, so I can totally relate to the subject matter, and it's really powerful movie.
Same here. So like, it reminded me of my brother a lot. That whole aspect of like being able to say one last thing to him, and I was like, ugh.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's got a couple scenes that just like tug at your heart, and you're like, damn.
The big dragon lady driving in the car. Yeah, I know. It's like, she don't fit in that car. She's too big. She's too big for that car.
Going on to my number 3 film. It's not a emotional cartoon movie. It is 2024's Alien Romulus.
Oh yeah.
I just like how it blended Alien, which is one of my favorite movies of all time, to Aliens, and it kind of has a nice blend between the two anyways. So it's just like really kind of a perfect blend between the two. It was paying homage to those, but yet still kind of fresh, and still did something a little different. Even if you didn't like it, it was something new. And it's just shot really well. Fede Alvarez did a fantastic job kind of putting that movie together and doing something on his own, but still kind of keeping the core material where it's at. So I'm hoping, I don't know if it's, I heard he's going to do another one, but I'm not sure if that's true or not.
They're doing another one, but Fede Alvarez is not involved with it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's a shame, but.
I almost thought you were going to be like, it blended Alien and Romulus together. For a moment, I was just like,
from Star Trek, bro?
Yeah.
I love this pick, Mikey. I love this pick.
The ancient co-founder of Rome? I was like, you crazy cat.
On to my number 2. This is another, I don't know, this is my feels this week, I guess. But this is 2021's Blue Bayou.
Oh, great movie.
Good one.
Yeah.
It was on my it almost made it, Mikey.
Yeah.
But
then I said, I don't like to be sad that much.
That's actually the reason I picked this one. This is the first movie that I can remember, maybe not the first one, but in recent, the last couple decades at least, this is the first movie that I watched in a movie theater, and I'm literally like bawling in the middle of the theater. Like,
I was too.
Yeah,
because we saw it together.
Yeah. So, and I
remember looking over. I was like, God damn, me too. I was like, dude, everyone in that theater, that last scene, I was like, this is messed up.
Oh yeah, it's like the cast does a great job. Every single person in the movie does a fantastic job performance wise, and like James just said, the ending is going to crush you. It is fantastically done. I've watched this like 3 times, and every single time, even though I know it's coming, I'm bawling at the end. So it's just really sticks with me. This movie is like fantastic. If you haven't seen this one, do yourself a favor, watch this one. This is really good.
Mikey with the tear jerkers today, man.
I know, man. Right. I know. That's my feels.
I went to go see this in Oakland or Berkeley. I think it's Berkeley because you guys talked it up and convinced me to go see it. So
on to my number 1 pick and getting out of my feels again. I couldn't decide between the two, so I cheated and just picked them both. But it's Dune Part 1 and Dune Part 2. They're both in the same year span, right? And I don't think there's a better sci-fi movie out there. This is sci-fi done to perfection. I mean, as close as it can be if it's not. but the cast is fantastic. The storyline between both movies, primo. So I kind of echo what Nabil said earlier about the movies. So these are just great movies. I feel like a lot of sci-fi is just like roaming in space, kind of that kind of feel, like Interstellar. Not saying it's a bad movie, still fantastic, but this one goes a little bit deeper into lore. It brings out a lot more characters, and it's done differently than other sci-fi movies, and it's just top notch in my book. So I had to pick it for this one.
I have to say,
great pick.
I give a testament to Denis Villeneuve about making a sci-fi film feel so real. Like the way he shoots a film makes it feel like you could believe that this is something that could actually happen somewhere.
It's called caring.
Yeah. Actually, when you think about it, I think we've said his name almost every single podcast we've been doing this.
So.
Like he's like the most recurring director
from
on
like
this.
a certain year. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm gonna hop into my grasshopper looking fly thing right after this. Just fly out of it.
Yeah, the dragonfly.
I got Xandalego, so
it's the James vehicle of the Dune series.
It is.
Just all cramped in it. I'm like, it's a little tight in there.
Those are all excellent picks, Mikey. That was great.
Headset won't fit. Sorry.
Yeah, but once again, Mikey, you got 2 movies again, twice in a row. You are disqualified, just to let you know. So.
Well, this is the last one, so I don't got to worry about it. So,
yeah.
He's ending on a high note. All right, Marco, that leaves you to give us your 2020-2024 picks.
All right. Starting with my honorable mentions. My first one is 2024's Challengers. And not really much more to add to this one except for I never thought I would enjoy watching tennis. Not a fan of the sport, but let me tell you, watching these actors pretend to play tennis in this movie, it's actually pretty freaking awesome. Performances were great. They made a single argument feel so intense that you were just hanging on the edge of your seat, like wondering what was going to happen. The mixture of dialogue and camera shots and music really helped intensify scenes that in other movies would just be so bland and calm. But this movie pulled it off. Wanted to add it on my list, but there were a few others that just kind of beat it out, but I wanted to mention it in honorable mentions. On to my next honorable mention, 2024's Terrifier 3. So this movie is very special because it is one of the last movies that all 4 of us got to see in person and review as
it's not going to be the last movie we're seeing.
Like,
oh my God, man.
It's never going to be there again.
What Marco's about to bet, I want to reveal something.
No, dude, but it'd been a while, because, Nabil was out of state and it's hard for all 4 of us to get together, but it meant something. It felt good. We planned it out. We executed. We pulled it off. And the fun part is we had been marathoning these movies leading up to it. And it just brought this wholehearted memory to me, dude.
You're like, it's because I thought you were going to be like, and then I muted my mic for 3/4 of the fucking pod, and it was pretty much unusable audio.
There was that part.
Yeah, I remember that part too.
That was also memorable. But I mean, it was funny to look over and see Nabil kind of like semi-cover his eyes in person, and say, "Oh, this is how he watches movies at home." And
it's adorable. I forgot. Nabil doesn't like when people get stabbed with knives.
Yeah,
it was a great theatrical experience too. The whole audience was into it. It just was a great experience.
It worked really well. Yeah.
So it's honorable mention because it's super violent. It's hyper violent actually, and it's probably not for everybody. But the experience for me I still hold that memory close to my heart. So that's why.
I did like the Christmas theme. I forgot about that part of it, but it was also a very good Christmas film.
Christmas movie.
Horror film.
Yeah. A little bit, yeah.
On to my top 5. I have the opposite issue with this than James. It was hard for me to choose because I just saw so many bangers that I really just enjoyed. And so I just went with, if I could pick one of these movies and start watching right now, would I want to? And if the answer is yes, then it's on my list. That's the only way I could kind of separate these movies and add them to the list, because otherwise this would be like a 30 movie list. But here goes. Number 5. is 2021's and 2024's Dune Part 1 and Part 2. There you go, Mikey. I'm joining you, bro.
They both did it.
This is a whole movie, and I think it works if you watch the whole thing, the whole spectacle for what it is. I think each part has its strength, as one half of an entire masterpiece. It's number 5 because unfortunately you'd have to spend like damn near 5 to 6 hours watching an entire film, and not many people want to do that, but we're psychos on this pod, so we probably would.
I did it this week.
Yeah. It's like Mikey said, it's an incredible, sci-fi spectacle, and Denis Villeneuve pulled it off really well. The performances are peak, in some sci-fi movies, people ham it up, but in this one, you can, again, see people took the assignment seriously and excelled in their roles. So that's what's on my list. On to my number 4, 2023's Godzilla -1.
Good movie.
Yeah, nice.
This is still, I know a lot of people like was it Shin Godzilla?
Shin Godzilla?
Yeah, Shin Godzilla. But this one's the one for me, man. This is probably my favorite Godzilla movie in the modern era. It's incredible. If you get past, the dialogue issue and, are able to read the subtitles and pull through it, it's an incredible experience. I think the story that they selected is really good. Like all these people surviving, a catastrophic moment of, getting a nuke thrown at them and then, having to face, another adversity. They all come together and work together in order to solve a problem and, build community and come out stronger in the end. And I really like that in the end. It's just not one person could do it. It had to be everyone putting all their work, all their efforts together in order to stop this terrible thing from happening. And for such a small budget, for the graphics to look this good, I think it just really puts other, big Hollywood movies to shame. So that's what's on my list.
Yeah. Good production value for a very small budget film.
Oh, yeah. It deserved that Oscar win too for visuals. That was awesome.
Oh,
and then
sure.
they're gonna be having a sequel too. So Godzilla -0.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
So it's just 0.
Yeah. And then it's -1. So it's technically +1 because there's already a minus and a minus and a minus makes.
Oh my god!
Yeah, anyway.
2 Godzilla. Yeah, I bought it in 4K too. Looks really good.
Awesome. On to my number 3 pick. It's 2024's Civil War.
Good one too, man.
Yeah,
This
it's real
movie
good.
is fucking fantastic, man. I love this movie. That last sequence in Washington, D.C., I like to watch that over and over again. It's just so well done, man. Both the practical and CGI effects used in there looks incredible. I know it's a night scene, but still, it looks really good. It looks very real. You feel really immersed in that situation. And the way Alex Garland handled the story and the situation that these reporters got into, I think was just perfect. They were just in the middle of it, observing it and, letting you take it in as raw as possible. And I really appreciated that. The really scene that sticks out is one of the characters played by Wagner Moura. He's just standing there, just screaming his lungs out as music is just playing and tanks are rolling through behind him. Just an incredible, powerful scene. And it's such a good movie.
The sound design in this one's really good.
Yeah.
Like some of the gunfire and everything, it just sounds so real, and it's like a different perspective than you're used to seeing a battle.
Exactly.
So it just works. Yeah, it's really good.
God, I could
Nice
watch
pick.
that ending over and
This
over
was
again.
like A24's first like big foray and like a big budget film too.
Budget.
Yeah.
Yeah. On to my number 2, 2020's Tenet. So it's a very special story behind this one. It was the dark times, and me and James decided to go out one time and
Try to watch it.
try to watch this at the local drive-in theater in Sacramento while there's, Armageddon happening around us. The sky's orange because there's a huge freaking wildfire around us. We go eat the Travis Scott meal. We
We did.
Yeah, we did. We scarfed that stuff down. We go to the movie theater, masked up, ready to go. We could barely hear what the hell's going on in the movie,
Yeah.
but
Confused as hell. I was like, I don't even know. Dude, at one point I was just like, I'm not sure what the hell is going on anymore, dude.
yeah, we made the absolute best of it. And then a few weeks or months after that, for his birthday, he rented out a movie theater. We went with some friends, and we saw a private showing of this in Napa.
Yeah.
And it was also a great experience, and that's why this movie stuck out. I love this movie. I know a lot of people hated it. I know, Mikey, you don't really like it, but I like the plot. I like the story. I like that it's a palindrome, both, visually and also thematically. And John David Washington and Robert Pattinson work great together. Elizabeth Debicki, man, so beautiful. Just, they all worked well together, man. And I love the story of the movie, and I love the experience. And that's really what elevated this one to number 2.
Because we actually reviewed it. So we watched it. And then I was like so frustrated because we couldn't really understand it. The next day I drove out to some like an IMAX theater up in Sacramento.
That's right.
By myself, by the way.
I remember that.
And watched it again. And then like I didn't tell everybody. Assumed now that I think about it, we should have seen Star Wars Episode 4 in theaters because that was available at the time. And I was like, that would have been fun. But I didn't tell anybody that we were watching Tenet. And I think some people weren't quite ready to watch a 3-hour long movie for my birthday. Because like I remember I got up and I told everybody, I was like, by the way, the movie's Tenet, and everyone was like no one had seen it because like it was so hard to see stuff back then, and I was like,
right,
hopefully you enjoy it. And I think everybody was just like so confused. But
yeah,
it was fun.
A lot of people didn't know what the hell was going on. I was like, dude, this is great. But I mean, this point in time, it was like the height of my anxiety too, and I think going out with homies and enjoying life and having some hope in a very dire, part of life, I think brings a really good memory. So,
and I don't even think it was too expensive to rent out the theater, if I remember.
Not at the time, well, because
they were having
everything
deals.
was closed. Yeah, they were having deals.
Yeah,
Yep.
it was like $200, I think, or something.
Yeah, they were having like super
Crazy
sales.
deals. Yeah, it was cool though.
Fire
Yeah.
sale.
It's fun.
On to my number 1 movie of this time period, 2024's Alien Romulus.
Oh wow.
So this is a very special movie. It's the first Alien movie my son ever saw in theaters, and I was around his age when I saw Alien 3 in theaters, which was my first Alien movie. So I was very happy I got to share and experience this with him, and he was just in awe watching this movie because we had become such huge fans of the Alien franchise. We saw the first 2 movies, and he was all about it, and I told him we were going to see this movie in theaters, and he was super excited about it. And we went to go see it at the Veranda Lux, actually. And he just had such a blast. There were some scary parts and everything, but I mean, he toughed through it, and so did I. But it was such an incredible movie, man. There's not much more I can add that Mikey didn't say. It blends, both the original 2 movies. I think the story's great. Fede Alvarez, yeah, he did do great. It's a shame he's not going to come back. I hope he does in the near future. Kaylee Spaney, look at that. She's in 2 movies on my list. She was just, coming out with bangers, and she did an incredible job in this movie too. David Johnson also, I think this is the first movie I'd ever seen him in. He did incredible. We also saw another movie this year with him in it, and he's slowly becoming one of my favorite new actors as well.
Oh yeah, The Long Walk.
Yeah, The Long Walk. But not just the experience, but the whole movie. I rewatched it, and man, it's just filmed so great. The space sequences are done so good. Everywhere from the launch at the beginning, going upwards towards the ending sequence when they're right above the rings of the planet, and the camera's going in and out of the ship, and it gets quiet when you're in space, and then there's sound when you're inside the ship. It was just such a great spectacle and handled so well. I know Dune did a masterful job with the sci-fi genre, but this one beats it out simply just for the experience, and also it's a shorter movie. So I mean, you could just pop it in there and just enjoy it.
Yeah.
So that's why it's my number 1.
That's great, Marco. Yeah, it's some solid picks. Alien Romulus was definitely a film that we were 50-50 on. I think going into it, we weren't sure what to expect. And watching it, saying if this is how they're trying to do the franchise, this is the right step in the right direction. So it is a great film.
Yeah, I hope they can continue it with the next movie.
All right, guys, that's us. We went through the last 25 years of film, and I got to ask you guys' thoughts. What did you think about this segment? Did you feel any nostalgia? Were there anything that you got to see again that you really forgot how much you did enjoy it? Is there anything specific you wanted to call out that didn't make your list? You're like, I wish I gave it a chance to put it on there, but I just couldn't fit it in. What are your thoughts?
Saltburn for sure for me. It was tough to take it off my list, but I'm glad it was on yours, James, because it's an incredible movie. I agree.
Yeah.
I think I'm okay with my picks. I don't think I missed. So there's stuff I wanted to be in the list, obviously, but the ones I chose are the ones I wanted to watch recently. So I don't really have any negatives towards that. But I do like, just to kind of reflect on it, I guess, I do like that most of our lists were different, right? We all have different points of views. We did had a couple that we shared, but between the different, years. But overall, we had a lot of different films on here. So it gives people a lot of things to choose from, a lot of points to look at, and a lot of things to think about, movies to watch. So I think that's kind of a cool element of this whole segment. It's just really nice seeing that a ton of different movies made, for people's list. We're only picking 5 movies, and there's 20 plus movies most of the segments. So pretty nice.
Yeah, I think I felt the same. I think what was the best part of this segment, and the reason why I even suggested we do it, was this isn't about what we thought was the best films that came out each year, but what, going back to see them, what our favorite films were, like things that we were recalling and remembering, like, I really enjoy this film and I think others would like it too, and here's some of the reasons why. And it may not have been something that we reviewed at the time that was the highest rated, but we still ended up watching it, but we did enjoy it in some fashion. So that was the biggest takeaway I got from this, is that honestly, even watching some of these films, we could have changed up the list a little bit and changed some of the order on where they play. So nothing holds true, because a favorite film is personal. It doesn't necessarily mean it's always going to be the same thing that everybody else is going to like. But
Exactly.
we hope that you guys listening here are able to take away some of our recommendations and maybe find a new favorite film of your own.
Totally agree, Nabil. I'll even going down back 25 years, even coming across some movies that you may want to revisit that maybe didn't make it on your list, but you're like, wow, this year had some really good releases I might want to check out again.
Yeah. Well, let me just say thank you all for joining us through this journey, through the time of some of our favorite films of the century. Like we said, we could have changed all these around, but as you can tell, I think we had a great time. And thank you again for the listeners for sharing your thoughts and continuing the conversation. Of course, it doesn't have to stop with this pod. Please share what films you enjoyed over the last 25 years on all our socials, and let us know what movies you think we should watch that we didn't even mention. And who knows, we may even review one of those in the future. And with that, let's jump into our main review of Avatar: Fire and Ash.
This is the only pure thing in this world. The fire came from the mountain, burnt our forest. My people cried for help. But Eva did not come.
This world goes much deeper than you imagine.
All right, Avatar: Fire and Ash. Currently sitting at 67% on Rotten Tomatoes. And the summary is, Jake and Natiri's family grapples with grief after Natium's death, encountering a new aggressive Nabi tribe, the Ash people, who are led by the fiery Varang. As the conflict on Pandora escalates, a new moral focus emerges. This one's directed by James Cameron, who did Avatar in 2009, Titanic in 1997, Terminator 2: Judgment Day in 1991. It's also written by James Cameron. Did Alita: Battle Angel in 2019, True Lies in 1994, The Abyss in 1989, and then Rick Jaffa and Amanda Silver are also part of this, and they did In the Heart of the Sea in 2015, Jurassic World in 2015, and Rise of the Planet of the Apes in 2011. This movie was released in December 19th of 2025 and is currently still in theaters, and stars Sam Worthington as Jake Sully, Zoe Saldana as Neytiri, Sigourney Weaver as Kiri, Stephen Lang as Miles Quaritch, and Ona Chaplin as Varang. And there's a ton of other people that are also here. We'll kind of shorten this list up a little bit to save some time. But let's start by getting everybody's just quick thoughts on it. So what were your impressions going in, and did you enjoy the movie overall? And we'll start with Marco.
My expectations, I want to say, were pretty mild going in, and I thought the movie overall was okay. It was all right. I liked the the visual spectacle of it. Of course, is always great with these movies. James Cameron is always pushing the bar with that, and I think with that he's succeeded again. But I think my expectations, for a caliber director like James Cameron, was slightly let down.
Okay, Nabil, how did you think about this movie?
I think it was just a fine plot. I think at this point, going into the 3 films, the plots are not the strongest thing of this movie. Visually, it's still top notch. And when I went into it, I was expecting to see the same thing. Like, we're going to see better visuals. I expected there to be a little bit more on the fire aspect of things. We got some of that, but I don't know. I felt that was, I was thinking from Way of Water, where we were really like, we were in Waterworld basically, and we jump into this film, and I was thinking like we're going to be in Fireworld or something like that. We didn't get a lot of that. It was a little different, but some of the beats were about the same. Some of the stories I even feel like was a little bit of the same. But overall, it was a good film.
And James,
just everything Nabil said. Yeah, that's it, basically. But no, I mean, coming in, I like these movies a lot, so I was excited for it. Glad to see it with you and Marco. We went to see it together. I think visually it is great. It's a great theater experience. Once again, these movies really excel for that theater experience. And I would say it's probably the weakest of the 3 in my opinion, but I still had a lot of fun. I think it ties in a lot of the storylines from the previous 2 movies, and it adds more to it. And it's overall, I had a really good time. So.
Yeah, my expectations were pretty high for this one. I saw the trailer, thought it was good. Like James saying, I watched the first 2 to kind of, quote unquote, prep for the movie, kind of get an idea of what's going on again. And I thought the trailer looked pretty good. I was really excited about it. Watching the movie, I do kind of echo what a lot of the guys have said here, but I think they tried to expand the world a little bit. And rather than having a storyline that kind of led into that, they just kind of used a lot of the elements and kind of spread the lore of the world instead of really kind of focusing on the storyline and the characters itself. That's kind of the gist I got of it. So I think it had a different vibe than the other ones, and I was okay with it. I still thought it was a really good movie, as other guys have said as well. It's really an experience. If you don't see this in theaters, you're kind of missing out a little bit, in my opinion. Even for the other 2 too, they were experiences going in. You seeing the 3D. This is actual 3D. It's not just converted or anything like that. You don't even really need to even know it's 3D. You put them on, you just have an experience, and everything just looks great. So I enjoyed the movie still. I didn't mind what they did. James already mentioned that the 3 of us, kind of me, Marco, and James, all saw this in IMAX here on our local ones. But Nabil, did you see it in IMAX as well, or what format did you see it in?
No, I'm not. I wasn't cool enough to be able to see it in IMAX, unfortunately. And I know it was a.
You didn't see the Odyssey then? The 5-minute? Oh man,
we did. No, I did see the. No, I didn't see the Odyssey. I saw Civil War. No, or not Civil War. Marvel,
Doomsday. No, there was a 5-minute special preview of the Odyssey in IMAX.
Gosh darn it!
It was pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie.
If you thought the Batman previews were good, this one's right up there, if not better. It was super nice.
Yeah. I only have one IMAX over here, and it was sold out pretty quickly. So I was like, well, I'm just gonna watch it in the regular theater. I watch it, but yeah, I already knew I was missing out without seeing it at least in 3D, but definitely not in IMAX. Yeah.
So let's move on to the plot. See how you guys thought about that. And in general, like everybody's saying, there's really not a lot storyline, like kind of in-depth stuff here in this one here. But the loose thing is basically there's an aftermath from the second one, from The Way of Water, and they lose their son. Jake and Neterio lose their son, and it's kind of seeing the aftermath of that. And I think Jake and Neterio are kind of handling it in different ways. And also, one of their quote unquote extended family members, Spider, is running out of air. Like, he's got to wear masks, right? So,
running out of Modelo.
They're gonna have to deal with that, right?
Yeah.
So they take these sky things over, and there is the Ash people come and kind of interrupt their trip, and that kind of just brings everything else into order here. They did bring back Quaritch. He's the same guy as the second one here, so he's back and he's kind of buddying up with the Ash tribe, and they're kind of working together, and it kind of flows into basically all-out war. So with that kind of baseline and that plot, what did you guys think of the plot here? Nabil, we'll start with you.
Yeah, so I have two things that really bothered me with this film. First of all, it's almost immediately takes after the second film. Like, it's a few weeks later, but essentially it's right after the film. So it's really a part two to the part two, more so than the first film was a sequel. But one of the things is that I feel that there wasn't a lot of depth in the characters. There was a lot of good threads of a story going on, like the dealing with the death of their son. You had Neytiri and Jake kind of having a bit of a friction going on, and I really liked that. I like that Neytiri was kind of like really upset and blaming essentially humankind about this whole situation, and then they also kind of midway through the film recognized that Jake was a human, and so there was a little conflict coming in there, and I think there should have been more digging into that for like almost 3 hour film. I feel like James Cameron could have really focused on a little bit more on that. And then the second part, which is kind of a two thing, is that there's two B stories. One of the sons goes on his own journey, and I feel like that just kind of just happens. Like, he's just, there's a lot of arguments, and then suddenly it's like, he's got to go find his own way, and we go on this separate journey. It's like, okay. And then there's the relationship with Quaritch and Sully, where they're kind of having to work together for a little bit. And I feel Jake always leading to like see with new eyes is kind of what he's saying. Like, you have new eyes, see with those, or something like that. Yeah. And I feel that there was no real resolve of that. He kept trying to introduce it, but nothing was really happening with it. And I don't think Quaritch really gained anything new perspective. Like, nobody, I feel like this whole film, there was no lessons learned. Everybody had a lot of things happening. There's a lot of conflict built up, but there was just no payoffs to any lessons learned. We just kind of like, there's a lot of shit going on and we got to deal with it. And then great, we dealt with it and we'll see what happens in the next movie, So that was kind of my weakness, that I feel like James Cameron really should have been able to dive deeper into these characters that he knows so well. Like, he's very intimate with them, but maybe he just wanted to focus more on moving the plot a little bit further to set up for, 4 and 5.
Nabil, I kind of said it better myself, because in rewatching like the first one, like the first two movies, there's arcs. Like, Jake Sully has an arc in the first movie, like from where he is to who he starts off as who he is, and the whole 3 hour spectacle is worth it because of like his journey to become one of the people and become part of Pandora. And the second movie, it's like, they got to leave, they got to learn how to change and evolve with the water people and learn new skills and still try to survive new adversities and everything. And it introduces kind of like the new generation with the kids. And in this third one, it's like you said, they plant little seeds here and there, but they never really do anything with it. Like, we don't really get, we get a haphazard story of Loak, and thinking like, oh, he's either him or Kiri are going to have a journey where we explore something else about them, where Loak actually like gains more confidence in himself and becomes like the older brother that he is now, or Kiri, with these new abilities that she has in connecting with Iwa, explore that, which they kind of teased in the previous movie that they never really touched on this one. They just sort of leave it floating. And then, like what you said with Quaritch, at one point I was like, oh, cool. This is a team up that they didn't show in the trailer that they're going to do, and they're going to have to like learn to work together, even though they're butting heads. Never happened. And then one other aspect that I'll just throw out there is the fire people. Like, you'd think with the title of Fire and Ash, like we'd focus more on them, but we only really go into their lands very briefly. It's a really cool like set, by the way, because obviously it's different, and James Cameron just excels at creating worlds and stuff. And this is one of my favorite directors, by the way. So I'm just, I'm being a little critical of him because I expect more of him, because I mean, Terminator 2 Judgment Day is like one of my all-time favorite movies, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, he's got the depth, right? Like, I feel bad for a fucking robot, machine. So I feel like he could do this with his avatars.
Right. He knows how to write the characters, and I felt he focused more on the visual aspect of this, which is great. Yeah. That's his choice, but that it didn't work for me because I wanted to see more of this, like these fire people who are a wild card and who are vastly different, who don't follow Iwa. It would have been nice to explore their culture and just kind of see like a different view, like we did with the Fire People. And yeah, it would have been almost kind of, you know, copying that, but it would have stayed within the themes of like the previous movies, and also elevating the characters and the story a little bit more. But again, visually, it looked freaking fantastic, and especially in 3D.
I mean, I agreed somewhat to you guys. I found it more like, because Jake has always like treated Loak as like a middle child, right? He's like that middle kid, right? And I thought it did well in this one, kind of showing that he's still like he's holding a grudge against him because of the death of Netayam, right? So and it really it comes down to a point where he finds out he leaves, and he's like, oh, we got to go get him. Then he's like, you got to let him do his own thing now. And I that worked for me, honestly, because he went off to do his own thing. And even when they have the whale council, or like the Jedi council part there, like he speaks up finally, and he does stand up for himself. So I felt like he did have a decent arc. Like, it's not the strongest. I'm not saying it is, but
yeah,
that worked for me in that one. And it is nice to see finally like Jake realize like, oh, I have to kind of let him go and do his own thing. I thought that worked, honestly, for my part. Kiri's part for me they could have dived into more. She is having that whole, you know, like going into her convulsions, and she's kind of having like a stroke almost. Yeah. And then by the end, I'll talk about it in spoilers, but I thought that actually worked out for me, just because it's kind of like a connection to something. Like I said, I won't talk about it. And yeah, the Corch thing, I really thought they were hinting at it, but like I said, I think that is hinting toward like the sequels. I don't think, you know, from what we've talked about, there might be some more to that, because he's kind of starting to, because, you know, he goes native. He hooks up with Rang. No, you know, I'm not trying to, you know, and I don't blame him. And it's kind of one of those things where I would have liked to see. It is cool that we finally got to see Navi that are not nice, right? Yeah. These are like really bad people, or maybe that's just the aspect of them, you know.
They're just misunderstood.
They just got the short end of the
Star Wars
stick,
thing. Anakin is like, to me, they're the bad guys, right?
From a certain point of view.
Yeah, so I mean that worked. I still thought overall it worked. It was not the strongest writing, honestly, but like Nabil said, none of them have the strongest writing. Although there are great moments, there's still some really good moments in this, honestly. So, and for the most part, it worked for me. But I see why a lot of people it will not work for you. But overall, still had fun.
Yeah, to kind of echo what you guys said here, I just feel like there was a couple elements that just didn't finish off very well. And maybe he's saving some of that stuff for another movie. But I mean, I honestly thought that, you know, Kiri's story needed a little bit more. The whole Jake and Quaritch kind of team up stuff that happened a couple times in the movie, that definitely needed some more kind of exploring. I agree with James though. The Loak stuff, I thought there was enough for him. As far as his side goes, the spider stuff I thought was okay. They did a lot for his story. So
he's a spider, man. You just want a Modelo, bro.
He was interesting. That, you know, especially, I mean, you can see in the trailers, something happens to him where he can become part of like a Navi, and he has a little tail.
It was less annoying than the last film. I didn't like him as much as
I didn't think he was annoying at all. I thought he was.
I mean, this film was like, okay. I guess
dude, it's so weird when you see the interviews with him now, because he's so older now. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, he filmed these like 10 years ago, didn't he?
I thought he was great in the last one too. And I just think that the kids were treated a little better in the previous installment. Like their arcs were a little stronger, I think, in my opinion.
I do too. But like Nabil said, this is really, if you look at it, 2 and 3 are like a one long movie.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the way to look at it. I'll say this too. I thought it was a really touching scene. Once again, because I mean, I bring it up not so often. My brother passed away, and him being able to see his brother in the beginning was like almost a tearjerker in the beginning, because you realize like, oh, this is like the only way he can talk to him, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh God, that's, you know, for me personally, it kind of hit the feels. So
yeah. I hope they explore that a little more, because I did like that aspect. I think I just want a little more, James. That's all. I just wanted.
Oh yeah,
maybe a little greedy. I was like, give me more, James.
Yeah, because we waited so long for these movies, and it's like, you know, I get it.
He probably has a lot more to tell in the other installments, and that's probably why.
He wants to do 2 more. He already filmed like a quarter of the next one already.
He just needs more money, he said. He's like, we got to see if this film does well.
Yeah. And it kind of killed already. So, I mean,
Yeah,
it's looking
doing pretty
pretty
well.
solid.
So we went over the plot. We talked about a lot of the characters. So I just want to kind of leave it open just in case anybody, we haven't talked about it. Does anybody have anything else about any of the other characters we haven't talked about? We didn't talk very much about Varang or some of the other smaller characters like the chief of the water tribe, that kind of stuff. Does anybody have anything about those they wanted to mention before we move on?
I will.
I'm sorry, Nabil, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, in regards to Varang, the reason I think we didn't have much to talk about is because we get a good intro of her, and she's a badass at the intro. But then as soon as she pretty much hooks up with Quaritch, it's basically she's put to the side. We have a little bit of scene to her. I actually forgot what happened to her at the end, and my wife had to remind me. I was like,
she flew off.
Yeah, she just kind of flew off. I was like, oh, okay, so we'll see her again, I guess, in another film.
Possibly, right? There's a lot of those kind of moments in this movie, honestly, where it's like, catch you next time in like 4 years.
Exactly.
Varang, very beautiful. No, but I really did wish we had more of her because she would have made a really great like villainess. Like what we got from her at the beginning was really cool, but I do like what we got with Quaritch as well. I like the fact that it's sort of like an inverse of Jake Sully, where he had to go in and gain the trust of this tribe, of course, for nefarious reasons. But I kind of like that, and I wish we would have gotten a little bit more of that. But it was good to see Quaritch try. We see a different angle of him and how he operates, and I really enjoyed that.
And I think honestly that shows like he uses him as like a tool because he's almost like creating his own little army,
Right.
Yeah.
because his own people are starting to turn against him. Like, hey, you're not getting anything done, and I think those parts worked for me with Quaritch. He was an interesting character to me in this one
He
because
is.
he really starts like compared to his character for the first movie, even though technically he's a clone of that person, but you know. He has the memories and such. Like his defenses are starting to go down a bit. Like he would have never teamed up with Jake before
Oh, yeah.
but he does have a soft spot for Spider, which is blatantly shown in this movie. Even
More so
it's shown
than
in the
the
last one
last, yeah.
too. Yeah, this one full blown because he even frees him to help him out to be like, God, we gotta save him from these people.
Yeah.
And even just his the fact that he goes toward it and it's like tends to slightly soften up, even though he people are complaining like, oh, then he reverts back to his first one, but it's almost like that's like a facade of him just doing that. He's just doing that because that's what's expected of him.
I think it's just like a knee jerk reaction. Like he's starting to open his eyes, but right when he gets close, it's like he's conditioned not to, and he's trying to break that condition. That's kind of how I saw it.
There was a really good interview with Stephen Lang, and he was talking about the way he was approaching the character was like he's like. Quaritch is actually like really jealous of Jake and what the life he's found. And it really, and honestly, hearing that, like, I was like, I can see that in a lot of the things that he does, even at the end. Oh, well, that's spoiler words, but there's parts of it where he could have just joined them, but he's like, oh, I've already like ruined I can't be that person. But once again, something I think they could explore down the road.
His vendetta in this one too, it feels and seems more personal than it was in the first one. In the first one, he was trying to do it for Earth and for the human race, and in this one, it felt more because of like what you said, James, like his jealousy of Jake Sully.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everything he has, he wants that. He wants like a family. Honestly,
and I will say one really cool scene with him is just when he's trying to negotiate with Varang. And he just points and says him, and his sniper just takes the dude out.
I like that part a lot too.
Such a good scene.
I was like, oh, that's cool.
Well, talking about killing, let's move on to some action. How'd you guys feel about the action, the fight scenes, etc.?
They were good.
They were awesome.
Yeah, they were all really good. Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I'm glad that they didn't show a lot of like this part. Like the trailers were kind of vague. I don't know if you guys.
Yeah,
like, there's a lot of scenes they don't show in the trailers, which I really enjoyed because there's a lot of moments when I was like, oh, whoa, you know, and you know, sometimes it's just like even like Jake escaping. I'll just say that I don't know that's spoiling, but there's a scene where Jake's escaping with a certain member of the Flight of the Conchords, and it was just like really fun. It was Jermaine, and I thought it was awesome that they used such a minor character for the last one. It turns out like. Every character has like a purpose, which I liked. So
that opening, I mean, not opening, but like the first big fight scene where they were up in the sky and they were trying to return back to the home base. That introduction of I don't know what the tribe's called, but that fire tribe that
They're
came
like-
in,
Oh yeah, the Ash people.
the Ash people, like they were. It was such a good visualization of like how vicious and brutal they were to their own people and like what they went through. It was tense the whole time. And then like they go into this jungle and there's like 2 tracks that we're following, and the way that plays out, like I thought that was really just well paced, well put together. The set pieces were good. Like he definitely put a lot of good effort in where the story needed to move forward. It was actually in the action scenes. Like there was a reason why something was happening, and then it was a reason why we need to get from here to there within the same time, showing a lot of action and like deliberateness in those scenes. So yeah, like that opening one itself was something that captured my attention pretty quickly.
I do wish some of the action happened more in the Ash People's land and have like a whole action set piece there. It probably would have been like closely look into Dune or whatever, but I think like James Cameron could have added his own flair to it. But hopefully in a different installment we get that.
I do like that they had like new creatures. Like they had these like squid things that were just like terrorizing people.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. I like the addition
The thing's
of
a
those.
nightmare.
Basically, yeah.
Even the flying creatures were cool. They look very unique.
Talking about flying and ocean and stuff. What about the cinematography? What do you guys think
Beautiful.
about that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
Like we said, the visuals.
he's got the look down. Like it's beautiful to watch.
I
And
mean,
I can
I
only
felt-
imagine you guys got to see it on IMAX 3D, so I can only imagine how that looked. But
Look great.
I felt like I was there, Nabil. Like I could
it
smell
was
the movie.
louder than hell. So
that I don't doubt. Yeah.
Good old Fairfield. Yeah, good old Fairfield Stadiums. The Regal.
Yeah.
Hashtag Regal.
yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and go over our star rating and if you recommend the movie, and before we get into spoilers. So we'll start with James.
I gave it 4 stars. I still liked it. I know it's the weakest of the 3, but I give those other 2 5. So this is a step down for me. I still think this is going to be in like a rotation of seeing stuff. And honestly, I really enjoyed watching these last 2 films leading up to this too, because I got to see them with my parents. My mom had never seen them, and she's actually really looking forward to this. So I'm really excited to show her the 3rd one. So
Nice. Nabil?
Yeah, I also give this 4 stars. I have my qualms about the plot itself, but it's still a fun time. It's still beautiful. I want to know more about this world, and I feel like we didn't get more about this world in this film. And that's really what the downer was, but it's worth a watch. Although I do have to strongly recommend that you watch the 2nd one if you're going to watch the 3rd one. So,
oh yeah, I would not watch this if you. I watch them all. Like, dude,
yeah, I mean, you really need to watch them all. But
It'd be weird if you were like, you know what, this is the one I'm going to give a chance for.
right.
You'd be heckle lost.
Dude, hell yeah. Like, housemate or this? I guess. So.
And Marco?
Well, James Cameron gets a slight pass because I love him. So 3.5 stars. It's still fun. And also Quaritch is just an entertaining character / villain. So I think him alone is just worth watching this movie, as well as the great visuals and the 3D.
Yeah, and I gave this one 4 stars. I liked it. It's a good movie. There are some small things that I didn't like about the story, but hopefully he makes the 4th one and he kind of continues on this path and just gives us another experience in this world, because it was good enough for me to like it. So okay, well that's our regular review of it. If you would like to not hear some spoilers, stop here and like look at it in the description to see where to go for our next podcast. And if you'd like to stay around and hear some spoilers, stay right here. All right, so thoughts on the ending of the film. So there's a couple things that happen here. Some of the big ones is Quaritch and Jake have a big battle, and there's a whole thing with Spider where he's about to die, and they both work together to kind of save him again. And I say again because it happens earlier in the film as well. But they kind of leave it at the end there too. That's one of the big things that happen. So what are you guys' thoughts on this event?
Anybody believe the fake out that they were going to go Spider? Because I was like,
No,
They're not
I knew
gonna
they were
swear.
going to kill him, but
Yeah.
I thought
No.
I talked to Mikey in Mark after this. Is like Quaritch is probably alive still too.
oh yeah.
Oh, 100%, dude.
And
Yeah, I
as
think
like anticlimactic it is, like knowing more about like where his like mindset is too. I think it's just like he sees the whole Sully clan roll up, and he's just like he's too proud to like give into it all, and he's just like, I just got to get out of here. Let me just and he just
Well, he also knows that
I-
Natiri ain't going to hold back, right? So
No.
Right. Well, I do have my theory. I think Quaritch is probably going to get redeemed, and that's why he's still alive.
He's the Vegeta character.
Probably. But
Sorry, I've been watching Dragon Ball Z. So.
But I don't know. See, do you guys say that plot? And I just don't know how Neytiri is going to be able to forgive anything about him, because of all the we didn't really talk much about her, but of all the characters, her whole progress in this film, her plot, her storyline, I mean, was the most consistent, and like I felt her pain throughout, and every time she had a disagreement, I was like, yeah, I agree, you're the sane person in this whole place, you know, like.
But I do like that. Like even Zoe Saldana said, like basically she's a racist, right? That's what she brought up. And
but she has a reason to be, though, right? You know,
she does. But then when Jake brings up like I'm a human actually, and then that kind of gets her to think like, shit, the guy that I love the most and trust the most.
But she's also like,
one of
that's
these
also
people.
your flaws,
and the fact that she was able to admit that it bothered her for a split second, like
Which was cool.
That was such a good exchange of dialogue. Really good.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring. I also really. I didn't want to bring up this, but I love the scene where she goes into like the base / city, and she's like pretty much disguises one of the Ash people, and she's dude. That whole sequence is really well done.
Yeah,
so,
she had the strongest storyline in this whole film of everybody. I didn't like her in the last film, I think, as much. Not as a character, just like her storyline. But this one, like. She was good and consistent throughout this. Like I was with her.
I like the scene where like because Jake takes, you know, it's like the last. I'll take her out myself, right. You know, and he brings Spider out there. I really like the tension that one brings, and then Neytiri is watching the waterway, and she realizes like, oh, we're making a terrible mistake too, and they run out. I thought that was a really good scene. That's one of the best scenes in the movie, I think.
And that scene is the reason why I agree with Marco, as Quaritch could have like a redeeming thing in the next movie. Right. Because Neytiri already kind of accepted one human. Yeah. And if he comes in and either saves him or her, I think she could turn still.
And I'm okay if she still doesn't forgive him too. I think that would add for a great dynamic where it's like, hey, he's an ally. You may not love him. You may not trust him. But at the same time, like we kind of need his help to defeat, you know, our other enemy or something.
It's probably snow people or something. I don't know.
Probably.
What else?
Snow people. Neytiri was probably just realizing that she was just blinded by rage. Really, I don't think it's full blown 100% racism.
I think she lost her son.
Was just, she was just super angry at the time and was pointing blame, you know, in one direction.
When
not
Spider
the band,
calls,
but I mean the real direction.
When Spider calls Jake Dad too, and I was like, oh, my heart. He's like, please don't, Dad. And I was like, oh no, he can't do it now,
dude. Oh man, yeah. I actually I didn't answer, but I did get faked out, Nabil. I was like, no effing way, dude. No effing way he did it.
So, but then I was like, but there's that scene where he's a crossbow in the trailer, so I know he's alive still.
I haven't seen it yet.
See, I didn't see that. And then James is like, no, didn't you hear that he just cracked another Modelo, you know? He says, me, Spider-Man.
My name's Spider-Man. Shit. He's like, you got to stop smoking these blunts around the kids.
I'm sorry,
it's okay, man. I'll put it outside, man.
Hey, your oxygen master running out too fast. You got to stop.
I got it, man.
Yeah.
Well, what are you guys' thoughts of the trilogy? So we kind of talked about this a little bit here, but I'll just kind of get your final thoughts here before we kind of finish things off. Did you want more? I think everybody said they want more, but is there anything? Yeah. Would you be okay with the ending here? Like,
no.
No, not really. No. This is going to be one of those ones that bothers me. There's a lot of movies we've seen where we're like, can't wait to get that Dark Tower trilogy, or, you know, or, hey, there's going to be more of these Star Wars, right?
Yeah. What's going on with that?
What happened to Solo? Oh, okay.
I heard a rumor that this was supposed to be like the end of this part of the story, and then the others like go explore like a different, like still with these characters, I guess, but like another
Marco.
But another freaking adventure. And for that, I wasn't really satisfied with this ending. I was like, I wish it had a better like bookend to like this, you know, part of the story, so to speak.
They got to see the metal benders, you know?
Yeah, or Avatar, Ice and Agony or something. But it's like, they already said the fourth one, he filmed a quarter of it already, the first act, because he wanted to, because the kids are getting old, right? So he filmed already that. It's supposed to be an 8-year jump. And then the narrator of that one's going to be Kiri, so.
I did hear that Kiri's narrating that one.
Yeah. Bigger time jump than Stranger Things. I love it.
Yeah.
Not
so
by age.
I'm assuming we'd have like an older, all his kids would be older, and he'd be like, you know, old too. But I mean, honestly, I would love to see the last two movies come out. So
Yeah.
I don't want to wait 14 years though. Like,
Yeah, like,
Nope.
and he's also everybody's getting older, like, especially James Cameron. Like, we need to see this in
72,
the next 5
so-
years. Yeah,
yeah.
both of them.
And
Both of them, yeah.
I'm assuming it would be greenlit for both. Like, I think they'd be shot probably back to back too.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts that someone wants to go over before we kind of stop?
Yeah, a lot of deaths in this one. Some I didn't think
some
would
unanswered.
happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Winslet's
Renal, Kate Winslet's character gets killed, but she has the baby right before, and I was like, oh, this is wild. And then like her son got killed. I was like, this is crazy. I was like, dude. But
Edie Falco died too. The general.
Yeah.
I think. We didn't really see it, but I mean, we saw it.
no,
right?
she
So-
definitely she didn't. There's no way.
Her ship blew up, yeah,
Yeah.
she
Yeah,
gone.
yeah, that's like that was like the one that Star Destroyer ran into the Death Star 2, and then it kept. You know,
She's gonna come back as an avatar the next one too. She's
Somehow.
like, yeah, I'm back.
Somehow he cloned himself.
somehow he's returned.
Or what if they have clone backups of all their higher up generals? It
They
would
might,
make
honestly.
sense.
Yeah,
but-
they might do it. Yeah.
It would make
Like
sense.
the
If they did it for
Empire,
Portage,
the Emperor.
you know, she's a higher ranking officer than him, so
Yeah, she's a general. So
yeah. But yeah, no, I was gonna say, yeah, you know, it was a great theatrical experience at least, and it's good to see solid computer graphics again.
Oh yeah, they're
Yeah.
so good.
one last one. Sorry about the death zone, but I love that they finally got that fucking poacher guy too at the end.
Oh, yeah.
dude, yeah.
Thank goodness. I hated him.
I like that he like survived because they had talked about it, like he's still alive in the last one.
Yeah.
But he had the arm, and then I was like, "Tell me they're gonna K this guy finally, dude."
Freaking
And a
drowned
good,
him.
like, it was a good death too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was just like, "Hey, you're gonna die like terribly." By the way,
Yep.
Yeah.
they're gonna bring you down to the depths of the fucking ocean and
The
just
water trimmers.
Get crushed.
Mhm.
yeah. So I was like, "That's cool." So, but like Marco said, I still had a really fun time. So if you're a fan of the other two movies, I would say this would be probably right up your alley. You know, like I said, still the weakest of the three, but honestly, still a fun experience. And see it in theaters, especially during the Christmas time right now. I'm assuming a lot of people are still going to be seeing it this week. So
Yeah, they'll probably give us a longer run than a lot of other films, anyways, because they're trying to make as much as they can with this. So go watch it in the theaters.
that wraps up episode 214 of the Movie Pals podcast. Marco, let everyone know how they can reach us.
You can find us on every major podcast platform, so follow and listen wherever you like. For links to all our socials and more, head over to linktr.ee/moviepalspod. That's linktr.ee/moviepalspod. And don't forget to smash that subscribe button so you never miss an episode or a trip to Pandora.
And hey, check us out on TikTok at moviepalspod for sneak peeks, quick takes, and behind-the-scene clips. Also, remember to check out our Discord community for all you film fans. Share your hot takes, ask questions, and hang out with us and fellow listeners. The invite is in our link tree. And shout out to Overplus for being our very first member to join.
Thank you very much.
Holla.
And coming up next is episode 215, where we will be doing our annual top films of the year. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be a fun one.
Thank you for listening. This is the Movie Pals signing out.